back. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Elk Lodge podcast. We missed you. It's been a while.
Too long, in fact. We're so sorry to keep you hanging
Yeah, we were
on the edge of your seat. We don't need that.
We don't need that. Nobody needs that. We were doing some traveling. I went to Argentina. We went to Mexico. I was on tour. We went to Chicago, to Indianapolis. Oh, my gosh. We've been moving a lot. And we're going to Europe. Like, maybe when this came out, we're in Europe already.
It's hard to know.
This is the life. When you have the number one podcast in the world, this is the kind of life you start living,
so thank you, guys.
Yeah, we appreciate you, the fans, Hey, we got a great episode today, actually. This was like a long time coming. These are two friends of ours, Smiley and Caren, and they're a couple. And last time we hung out with them, or every time we hang out, it's like, gosh, we got to all have a double date, like hang out more. And I called them kind of on a whim because Smiley tours. He's in a band called the Main Squeeze. Awesome funk band, jam band.
Jammy band.
And so he's always on tour. So anyway, just like the way, our schedules trying to meet up has been a struggle.
It was kismet, though, yesterday.
It was kismet. I texted him last minute, like, hey, if you guys are around, we'd love to do a podcast. He was like, bro, actually, we're free. Like, shockingly, And so we did it. It was fucking fun. We love these two.
Yeah, it was lovely.
Yeah, Caren is a body painter also, and she's a singer too. They have a group called Chroma Smile, and so we talk about that.
Toyed with the idea of doing a couples battle of the bands.
Yeah, we might fight these two, so stay tuned for that. That'll be a exclusive for the Patreon. But anyway, before we start the episode, we just want to remind you, in case you forgot, this show is brought to you by Hexa Coffee. The best coffee in the world, brewed in the city of Chicago.
That's what I was going to say. The best.
The best. It's just
Simply
the best. Number one.
Best.
So if you're in Chicago, check them out in Roscoe Village, And if you're not in Chicago, you can order their coffee online at hexacoffee.com. That's HEXE coffee.com. Mm-hmm. And when you do that, check out using the promo code ELK, and you get 10% off of your purchase.
How about that?
Fuck yeah.
And a public shout out to the owners of Hexa Coffee who recently had their first little baby girl. Nice to meet you.
Is that public information?
I don't know. Thank you, everyone. Have a great night. You're going to love this episode.
Enjoy.
Okay, I thought you were saying with the wax,
right?
like the wax.
Yeah, there's like a candle that you essentially.
How'd they get it out? They sprayed it out?
There was like a little. She had a magnifying glass that was attached to something, and then she like scraped it out, and I can like feel the scrape on my eardrum, and it was very sensational feeling.
Wow,
sensational.
I bought a thing where like
that's serious.
It's got like a scraper in it, and it's got a camera on the end of it, and then it hooks to an app on your phone, so you can like look at
what
the earwax you're scraping
you
out.
Do it. Wow. You do it yourself?
Yeah.
Good for you.
I got a thing because one time like everybody's levels are good in your ears.
I think I'm good.
Yeah.
One ear was like just like clogged, like I couldn't even like. I was like dizzy, like it was like so clogged.
Yeah, like so disorienting.
Yeah, so
it's amazing how much that controls our balance.
Yeah. It's a vulnerable place. I think it's cool that they have that option to do it yourself because, people digging in there into your drum.
I know.
Your drum.
Well, I one time messed it up. Like I got a
Q-tip.
Yeah, I got a Q-tip and I like pushed all the wax in or something, and then like
common mistake.
Yeah, common mistake.
but now he's like afraid of Q-tips, and that leads to needing power tools. It's like the scene from Dumb and Dumber where they have to like go at the toenails with the drill.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I had.
That's
to get.
what you have just because you don't do like a daily swipe out.
Because you Q-tip like almost daily.
I do not like not using a Q-tip after I shower. It really bothers me.
Q-tips are the problem though.
I know. You see
That's
him
what the
like
doctor told you?
Yes.
Oh my God.
100%.
It's a placebo, and I didn't even know.
Well, because he just said it like it pushes it in.
But maybe doing it every day, it never builds up enough to be pushed in.
I don't know. One time, a coworker of mine did have like the cotton actually kind of dislodged in there, and she didn't realize, and so she was literally hard of hearing for a while before she went and had it cleaned out. So I do know that they could be problematic, but I just don't really want to accept it.
Good for you.
I feel like still wet if I don't clean it out.
I think if you stay like on the outside area, then it's good.
Right. I was going deep with it, you know, because it almost like tickles. It's like, oh, You know that feeling? You
But
never
if
get
you
that?
go,
into
once
that.
you go too far,
I like
it
it.
hurts. Yeah,
I like
you got to do like
It kinda
just a
tickles
little
my
rim
spine.
job is all. You don't go too deep in there.
Okay, you're good at it.
Were you?
I got it
Yeah,
down.
you're good
I
at it.
practiced.
You have control. You have self-control.
But one
I just
time
go.
I had a friend do the candle thing, which is a really bizarre experience. It's more of like a holistic approach than having a doctor in there. But there's like a cone and you light the candle on fire and something about the heat, like
It
literally melts
melts
the
it.
wax and then lets it like
But it
pour
like
out
pulls
of
it
your
out.
ear.
I don't understand the science.
I would
It's like
watch
a
that.
suctiony thing once it's melted that just
Sucks
I
it
don't
out.
know, it just kind of like goes into this little device. I mean, I couldn't see. I wasn't really privy to the whole thing happening.
So what? You got a clogged ear?
Actually, a friend suggested I do it as a musician. He's like, he would post it on a story, and he told me one time in person that it was a life-changing experience. He went, and it was like a real amount of wax, like not fully the amount of this gingerbread cookie, but like maybe like two of these
Wow,
worth of
though.
wax. And he was like, "Holy shit, that just came out of one ear." And he told me that, and he was
It's
like, "It was a
amazing.
life-changing experience." For him, and he's like, "You have to do it." So I went in thinking it was going to be so much because it's never happened to me.
I was like, take pictures.
I took a picture. It was like barely anything, and she said it's probably because I don't use toothpicks.
Because you don't use them.
Yeah, I guess
Wow.
that's
Because you
the
don't like.
So
shove it
wait,
down
who
in
did
there.
you go see? This isn't like a
An
dermatologist.
ENT,
Yeah,
yeah.
that makes sense. Okay.
What's an
Good to know.
ENT?
Ear, nose, and throat.
Oh, okay.
I have a girl now. If you need one,
Okay, I mean,
He's got the hookup.
talk to this guy. I'm happy.
A doctor
with
looked in my ears
placebo.
one time and was like, "You should probably see like a specialist."
no way.
And then I just hate making appointments and stuff. So I was
Oh
like,
my
there's got to be a
gosh.
way I could get it out myself. And so I found my little device.
Took it into your own
And
hand.
you
Yeah,
did
exactly.
like you stopped complaining about it. I feel
I
like
got it
that
out of
bit.
there. Well, like there's also hydrogen peroxide. You ever pour that in your ear?
I've done that once.
Corey-
It
Corey
That
does
is like bubbles. So I
Yeah.
was using that to kind of like weaken it. And then I would go in there. But it was like a process to get it all out.
You can start a side
Mining
business.
for gold.
It was like $200. Like if you charge like $50,
It'd be kind of fun. I kind of liked doing it, to be honest.
wow.
It's like, popping pimples. Some people like it.
I'll
Yeah.
let my crew know that you'll do it.
Let them know.
Yeah, give
Let them know.
that,
I got
like,
a device.
Hush hush under the table kind of payment.
That's like-
It'll be good.
I mean, how much would you charge?
$50 sounds like a good starting
I feel
rate.
like that's good.
You know?
Yeah. No
I'm saving you
certificate.
$150.
Yeah, it's
I mean, come on.
badass.
So on tour, do you guys wear in-ears and stuff, or like
No.
Have you ever thought about
Corey
it?
does. Yeah, I've tried it. It felt like condoms in a bad way.
Do you protect your ears in any way on stage? For the people who don't know, we probably said it in the intro. We do an intro and then we.
Oh,
lead
we
in.
started?
This is it.
Shit.
You're like,
Talking about
I
earwax.
talked about ear gums.
So, but we, you're in a band that makes Squeeze. So you've done like a million live shows.
1
You protect
million.
your ears in any way. You just did your millionth show. I saw on Instagram.
Yeah,
You
1
posted that.
millionth. Yeah.
You guys opened was it a regular NFL game or the Super Bowl? You guys.
Regular
That
Monday
was
Night
pretty
Football.
exciting on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, it was wild.
That was
People
really cool.
always say it's a Super Bowl to me, but it wasn't.
I don't know why. I mean,
You did halftime.
I believe it. I would believe it.
You guys did the
Yeah.
halftime show at the Super Bowl, right?
Pretty much.
Just roll
I
with
saw
it.
it, dude. I'll never forget. I was watching the Super Bowl, and there you are, dude. Like,
You've seen one football game. You've seen them all. They blend
But that was
together.
cool.
I feel you. It was cool. It was very random. Our friend Teddy, you know Teddy probably. He, I can't even really say exactly, but he helped out. I don't think I'm allowed to say.
Okay.
But
Teddy.
he was the connect. And
You
yeah.
had kids from your middle school reaching out to you, being like, "Dude, I saw you."
Oh yeah, people I haven't talked to in 20 years were like, I was just watching the football game and all of a sudden you were on the screen.
Wow.
Like that was the most I had been reached out to ever of our whole career. Anything I've ever done, people that I hadn't heard from came out of the woodwork and were just like, holy shit, I just saw you on TV.
Wow.
That's awesome.
The power of the broadcast, you know?
Yeah.
It was wild, but
Pretty
we
new
didn't
audience.
even. We were watching it. It was wild. We taped it 2 days before it aired, and after we did the whole thing, it was like a full production. Mad people came into our house. We recorded it. Right after we finished, we heard for the first time that there's only a 60% chance that it airs. They're like, it's not up to us. It just depends. And we're like, what? Like we thought this was like a guarantee. Like we did this.
Teddy,
for a
what
reason.
the fuck?
Deal.
Pretty much. And so then we were watching it hoping that it was going to air. and there was a rain delay. There was a couple things that happened, and we're using my friend Robbie's YouTube TV account. And right when we first see our names on the screen and our faces, it turned black and said, "Too many people watching this account right now." And it's like we had like a party, like we had like 10 people at our place to watch it, and that's what happened at that moment.
No.
Wow.
Yeah. But we watched it on tape.
It was cool seeing it was in like your house too,
Yeah,
which
in
was
our living
awesome.
room.
Like it's such an iconic view, and I don't know, it was cool watching
It was cool.
that.
Yeah, we were stoked.
So it's
great.
just because like you don't know how many commercials breaks are exactly going to
Yeah.
happen. That's why it was an iffy
Yeah,
thing.
you never know. It's not up to them. They didn't know. But
Well, luckily for you guys, they call a million fouls, and there's always room for a little
You always need to take a
musical
quick
entertainment. You know,
fouls, yeah.
Are you a big football guy in general? Was that like first football game you watched?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't watch football at all.
Do you guys watch any sports? Big table tennis people, I know that.
We love table tennis.
Ping pong and other.
Mm-hmm.
No, we don't watch sports anymore. I used
Nice.
to play basketball, and I watch basketball when I'm with some of the Squeeze guys because they like basketball.
Nice. Like if you're on
Yeah.
tour and there's like the finals or something,
Yeah.
you'll watch.
And I watched the finals. We watched the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah.
Did you come? Yeah,
For what?
the Super Bowl. Did you come watch it at Max's? Maybe not.
I don't think so.
She didn't come.
I don't know.
You don't have to. Yeah. I mean, I only watch sports if it's like a big game.
You watch
Yeah.
sports because of me.
And because she's like the sports one.
Really?
She's
Yeah,
more
like-
sporty.
I was raised by my, single dad, so I just
Part
it's
of
like a comforting thing to watch sports.
Did you play sports?
I played soccer.
Do you have a TV in here?
Yeah, yeah. I get cable just so I can watch sports.
Nice.
I'm that girl. But yeah, I don't know. I don't watch like regularly anymore, but I like football. I like college basketball a lot. Like March Madness was really fun. I got super into that, and he was on tour at that time, so I was like alone, just like tuning in, going nuts. I really like that.
I would check in, like, how's it going? You're like, my bracket is fucked.
I was like so mad, but it's all trivial. But yeah, I don't know. There's something kind of communal and comforting about it to me.
Love that.
It's calming. I like watching tennis a lot. It's just very calming to me. I think it's because I used to work at a tennis club.
Yeah.
And so I associate with like, that's what like the successful people watch tennis, like, because
It's
all
like
the
a
people
nice
there.
rhythm.
I tried watching
Yeah.
tennis the other day, and it's jarring for me to hear all the grunting.
Oh, the
Very
grunts.
distracting. I didn't like it. I was literally, because a lot of time I make jewelry and stuff, and I'm zoning out while I'm watching TV anyways, which is perfect for sports because you're not actually, who cares really? Like you hear the good things and the rest you don't watch. But yeah, it was like I'm looking down, stringing beads, and it's just like, like back and forth.
Sometimes
And I'm
like
like
sexual.
jumping
Sounds like
over.
they're in
It's so
distress.
sexual sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm changing it.
I think
Jesus.
some people might like it for
Yeah.
that reason.
Like that's the only reason I watched it.
The girls are so hot.
Another weird thing with sports is like, it used to be sports, athletes are like adults. But now they're like all younger. Like half the NBA is probably younger than we are.
No,
Yeah.
that is weird.
And like watching college football, like these are kids. They're like 18 years old. Like it's so.
What does that
weird.
do for you?
I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
what's that?
weird
It is
now.
jarring
It's weird.
sometimes
Yeah.
when you're like sometimes you see them and they still look older than you, but then sometimes you see them and you're like, oh my god, they look like they should be in diapers. They're
Yeah,
that little.
little
It's
baby
like there's
Little
a
baby
mix
boy.
of it, But yeah,
Generational.
Yeah, it's weird. But okay.
How about sports?
So how did you two meet? That's something I actually don't know
Oh
about
yeah,
you guys.
Really?
you guys have a cute meet cute. I can just feel it.
You can feel it?
It was an autumn day.
Yes.
October 8th in Bloomington, Indiana.
You know what? That is the start of a very magical
Oh,
story.
do you remember the day?
Oh, of course.
So walk me through the day.
October 8th.
Of course,
Like
he
the
said.
day, like the
Yeah,
morning
well, I
to
couldn't-
night
Well,
kind of
once
day.
you
or-
met, like let's kind of.
I mean, I was walking home as, young college girls probably shouldn't do, but I'm adventurous. No, okay.
You
But
were?
there was
Alone.
Yeah, I was alone, and I was just walking home, and this bar that is quite popular, Kilroy's, it was open. The back door was open,
Staple.
and they had
Quite a
like
staple.
the patio, which was a whole scene. And I was like under 21 at the time, so I'm like, I'm gonna just kind of slide right in here and see what this whole world's about.
She
and
snuck in.
I snuck into the bar.
And the Main Squeeze had a show that day at Kilroy's on the back patio. but it got canceled because of a noise restriction sort of thing. So all our stuff was set up, and they were like, you can't play anymore. There's like a problem with the noise complaints, and you got to tear down. So we tear down all our stuff, but we were just hanging out there. And at one point,
we locked eyes.
well, yeah, kind of. Our friend Elise,
we had a mutual friend,
introduced us.
And this is a girl that I had literally met. And this is how it is in my brain. Like, I met her a couple of days prior. We were dancing to some music, and you know when you see someone on the dance floor and you're just like, you're grooving out. You're
For
like,
sure.
yes, you're my girl.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, that girl, she's cool. And then she's like, oh, come meet my friends.
I don't even know how long I had known her or how I knew her, but I knew her.
Everyone's like, I don't even know this girl.
No, we definitely knew Elise. She was great. And she introduced us, and I asked Caren if she wanted to go get a drink at the bar.
I was like, nah, but I'll walk with you.
Which is great.
Playing it cool.
Yeah, I mean, and then we kind of just hit it off. We went to her place afterwards, and then we heard music in the far distance. We were like, someone's jamming right now. Like, do you hear the music? And we somehow just all like go over there and classic college, right?
Snuck into someone's house, like
walk into the
literally
house.
broken and entered into someone's house.
Midwest. People do that in the Midwest. I'm telling
Yeah,
you.
but it's so funny though that we did that. We walked into this person's house without knowing who it was
It
at
was
all.
riveting.
Wow.
That is so.
But we
funny.
did know them. It was.
We ended up knowing them. We
it was
found
like,
the music.
What? We have mutual friends. I had like art history with one of the guys.
Anthony
David
Scarpacci and David Leinard.
Leinard. Yep.
Wow. Scarpacci. That's a good name.
Scarpacci.
Scarpacci,
Never
come on.
forget. Anthony Scarpacci. Let us in your house.
Of course. Wide open, and they started busting out the instruments. And Max, their guitarist for the Squeeze,
It was us three, me, Caren, and Max. We like stumbled into this place. Caren didn't even know I played music at all.
no idea, no idea. And then I found out.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
That's pretty cool. And this is the day you met.
Yes,
This is
the
the
night.
same night.
Did you
Yeah.
realize he was there to play a show or no? He was
No,
just
we
a guy
didn't
at
even
the
get
bar.
there. We were just
I
talking.
mean, it might have been mentioned, like, oh, we were, I don't even know that.
I don't think
But
so.
it wasn't.
I was
You weren't
probably.
thinking like this guy's a musician.
It was a
No.
slow play.
That
It was
was-
definitely a
that's
slow,
very well done.
purposeful slow play.
I was like, look at that beard.
And you were like, I guess I'll do a little something.
I planted the neighbors playing music.
Yeah, smart.
That was I
Smart.
made a couple calls and was like, I'm talking to this girl. She has no idea I play music.
I mean, both of you and Max, and I remember like just being blown away, and because at the time I was going through this whole transformation, getting more into my artistic, creative side, and pulling away from like Greek life because I was in a sorority at the time, which was like just going through a whole shift, and so. When I met these guys, it was like, wow, I'm calling more of this energy into my life, and I was just, swoon.
How was it? It was like
Beautiful.
12 years ago.
Yeah, I was gonna say, guys, you've been out of college a long time, huh?
Yeah, it's 12 years.
But we've gone through I moved to New York for 6 years at one point, and he was here in LA. So we've done the long distance, like open thing. So now we live together.
It's
2
amazing.
years later.
We made it.
Or-
Yeah, you made it.
We made
have
it. Quite the journey.
We needed all that growth work in between. I feel
For
like
sure.
has contributed to
Well, it's a really,
how we relate.
it's a young
Beautiful.
time to
You
like.
can still take that time and be together, but
Mhm.
on your
Yeah.
own.
Yeah, it's like that's a young time to sort of like meet your person, It's like we always say like I'm so relieved. We didn't really we met when we were kids, but we didn't start dating till we were like 30. And we're like, I'm so glad we didn't start dating in high school because it's like what if we,
Yeah, I'm grateful for all the things I learned about myself along the way. I don't know that I would have figured out as much about myself if I had been in a relationship with, I don't
true.
know. But
Yeah.
I mean,
There's
it's just interesting. It's,
everybody's different too, but it's just kind of nice that you guys gave yourself a little space to like
Yeah.
live.
Yeah, we were talking about that a little earlier because, you guys are both in positions where you travel a lot. And I mentioned that used to like stress me out before he left for tour for the first time. I was like particularly worried about it, but kind of get used to it. And it's nice to sort of recharge as an individual and like come back together and have sort of this reminder of how lovely it is and like this intention to keep it going.
Yeah.
It's nice.
I feel like when some couples, like, it's so easy to get enveloped in your own world and just like you're each other's existence, and it's hard. You kind of start melting into one being. So to have that space apart is really nice, and I find like refreshing to just like recharge, find your center, be like whole in your ownness, and then you come together, and it's a really nice combination.
It's been working. It's working.
Yeah.
It's working for you?
Yeah, it's working.
Yeah, it is. It's nice to like miss each other too. You know, like it's kind of it's a healthy, like everything needs to breathe a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, if you're just together all the time, like you never are breathing, and like if something doesn't breathe, it dies.
Yes.
Yeah, that's poetry, baby. And you know, so what's cool is that I feel like our friendship was sort of solidified by a jam as well.
100%.
Because
this ours were, and ours
and then
was.
ours was. I feel like you were there too.
Beauty of music.
Yeah, but like I met you because our friend Jordan.
Lipschitz.
So what? Yeah, Jordan Lipschitz first met Josh.
Was like very good friends with Josh.
Yeah,
Best friends
so-
at college. Yeah.
So Smiley's younger brother, Josh. Shout out to Josh.
What up, Josh?
Was best friends with our best friend Jordan. So like, you know, when I visited Jordan and Charlie, it was like, let's go hang out with the Squeeze guys. Like, let's go jam. It was like and then that was like the most epic jam of all time. Like, it was just like, I feel like we still talk about it. Like, I saw Max at like your ping pong tournament. He's like, do you remember that one jam? That one time I was like, yes, of course.
Yeah.
Like it was just a great jam.
100%.
And like, there were these brownies that like somebody made.
Oh,
And it was
yeah.
like in college where it's like, we don't know how strong these are till we eat them. Like,
It was. I'll never forget that night for that for the jam reason and the brownie reason, because we had a gig in New York 2 days later.
Wait, I was at that jam.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what he
no,
said.
you were there.
Yeah,
you were there.
I was like, I remember the brownies.
brownies, I remember.
That was what I figured out.
I missed.
They
but
were
yeah.
so good, and it was like more for the taste of it. They were too good.
They were
too
so
good.
strong too.
trouble.
Well, and you guys left to like go out somewhere.
We
No,
drove
but
to New York.
Mid jam. You left the house to go to like a party or a bar.
Oh, wow.
And you're like, ah, fuck. And then I remember it was like an hour later. You're like, we're back. Like we couldn't. it was too hard or something like that. And,
Wow, I don't remember that, but
I remember
yeah, I
that.
believe that. And
But yeah, so wait, what's this New York trip?
we somehow made it to New York. Like, I think we drove through the night. So it was, I don't remember the timing of it, but I remember Corey explaining the story, because I think Corey just like hallucinated to a point of not remembering anything, like almost blacked out from the brownies.
Blackout brownies.
And
And he somehow told you what to remember?
no, it was the next
he's the
day that he
historian.
was right. Well, Corey's way better at remembering things than I am,
Okay.
for sure. He's incredible with it. And we made it to New York. I don't remember who drove. Thank you for whoever drove.
Sounds sketch.
It better not have been you.
Yeah, it
Definitely
could've
wasn't. I mean, based on my memory, it could have been me, but it wasn't. And
I can just feel your mom right
We
now.
made it
Yeah,
to-
please.
What?
we made it to New York, and the jam and the brownies are forever cemented in our brains.
Yeah,
I
it is
like
so
that.
beautiful.
You know what? Like growing up, Paul was like one of the people I witnessed like making music, and his family used to host a little backyard jam called Jam and Bread. But maybe we should obviously have that for our family, but maybe also jam and brownies, which is like the after hours
shit.
version,
Oh,
which
shit.
includes
Once the brownies kick in, now it's jam
that
and
like all the
brownies.
kids are in bed and now it's jam and brownies.
Oh shit.
Careful with those brownies.
What about bread?
Well, it was like we would raise money. It was just like a family party. You know, families would come, just like set up picnics in our backyard, and we built a stage, and it was like us and all of our friends who had bands would just play. Like, and like my dad's high school band got back together for it. You know, it was like
Nice.
a fun
It
thing.
was super cute.
And so we had like a donation bin, and like that would go towards like some kind of a food shelter or something. That was the bread thing, and then the jam was the music, obviously. But it was also just a catchy title, you know, Jam and Bread.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys were like baking bread or.
No, we weren't doing anything
They were
like that.
breaking bread, you know. They were
Ooh.
eating. They were,
Yeah, we broke it.
yeah.
That's great.
So how did you meet the Squeeze guys? Just like went to college, like, hey, you make music, so do I. Like, let's hang out. How did
Max
that
and
all
I knew
form?
each other from camp. We went to a camp together.
So you
Which
didn't grow up
camp?
in the same town, but you went to the summer camp together.
Correct.
Oh, Jibwa.
Camp Baco.
Baco. I don't know.
Baco,
about that.
Shinawa. It's in upstate New York.
Oh, okay.
Max is 2 years younger than me, so I went to Indiana And the time that Max was deciding where to go to school, that summer, he and I were music counselors at this camp together, and we were just like forming a great friendship of just like being close and making a lot of music together, and it felt really good. The camp was very much a music loving camp. They actually didn't have a music program there, but I started it, and Max was my first like person that I brought on as like the second in line of like, we're the music counselors. And we were making a lot of music together, and he was like thinking about where he wanted to go to school. I was like, you should come visit Indiana. So he came and visited. He sat in, I was in a music Jimi Hendrix class, and he came in and he sat in with the class for a second for that class, and we just knew we wanted to start a band. He's like, I'm going to come to Indiana. He was a cello student, and he got into the classical school of music, Jacob School of Music, as a cellist. Mm-hmm. He came to Indiana, and we started the band, and he dropped out soon after because the band started to do well.
Wow.
So that's how Max and I met. Corey, my freshman year, I hopped the fence to get into sports, which is one of the more like Kilroy's and sports are the two.
I was gonna say, I thought you didn't watch sports. Yeah.
So I like hopped this like large fence. It was something that a couple of our friends would do because I didn't have a fake ID at that time. I would like literally like climb this fence, jumped over, and then once I got in, I just like had to like make like I was there the whole time.
Sure. Disappear into the
crowd.
Yeah,
like I had a backwards hat, and then when I got in, I threw it, and then all of a sudden I was just like this.
There's
weird...
just a pile of hats like by this
And I like hopped this fence. I was definitely pretty drunk. And inside there was a little stage of dueling pianos, and I saw that the dueling pianists took a break, and on their breaks, and when they got off, I was like, all right, this is my time, so I'm gonna sneak on, and I started playing, and Corey, who I never met before, snuck on and started singing with me.
Wow.
And we played a song together. And I was 19 or something. And that night I got his number or his Facebook or something. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I'll hit you up sometime. And then I hit him up. The message that I first sent to him is still on record on our Facebook like messaging page. And it's hilarious. It's like, what's up, man? I make beats. Like I got a lot of hip hop beats. Would be dope to have you come sing on one. So he came over one time and with me and Papo, and he sang on a couple of our beats. And he's like, yo, I'm about to go on a cruise ship for like a year or two to sing. So he left town. While he was gone singing, doing his thing, the band started. And then the Squeeze was playing at the Bluebird. This was a couple years after I'd met him.
Bluebird.
Senior year. And then he came. You've been to the Bluebird.
I've been to the Bluebird. Classic.
Love it. And Corey was in the crowd watching a Main Squeeze show. And he's like, holy shit, that's Smiley. I know Smiley. After the show, he came up to me. He's like, yo, remember me? I was like, of course. Corey, what's good? He's like, I think I'm going to be back in town for a bit. And at that exact moment, we were looking for a new lead singer. And it was only a year into us being a band. And we had a bass player who sang. His name's Kevin Grove. Mm-hmm. And we invited Corey to a jam with us, the band. And that was the rest of history.
Wow. And Ruben was the drummer at that time, too.
At that time, Ruben was the drummer. Ruben's been the drummer ever since, other than the first month. The guy who made the name of the band, his name's Brad Friedman. Mm-hmm. He was our drummer. He, on the way to our first gig, told us the whole story of like how the band should be called the Main Squeeze from a dream he had. And it was epic. Mm-hmm. And at that first gig, Ruben was in the crowd because he was on the same floor as Max freshman year. And Max told Brad and the band, yo, this guy that lives on my floor, Ruben's a great drummer. Can you sit in on a song? So he sat in on our first show. And we liked that song so much that we ended up asking our old drummer to leave and Ruben to join.
That's a tough conversation.
Our old singer, Kevin, just did it without like confronting us about it. Like one morning, he's like, yo, I got really drunk last night and I kicked Brad out of the band.
Okay, well that makes
We're like,
it
yeah, it did kind of make it easier.
Wow.
I never heard that.
He's cool though. Brad's cool. He's come to some shows. He does winery in Napa and like, he's a good dude. And we give him.
It's a good call.
I don't feel bad for him. I felt bad for a second. I was like, oh, he missed his ability to be the rock star. But you know, a sommelier is.
He wasn't in it. He wasn't in it like Ruben was in it for music. Like this was like, it is a hard thing to do, to have a band and to be on the same page musically and like commitment wise, and we were young college kids, but at that time music was all of our like number one passions, and I don't think Brad was like ready to like take it all the way to that next level. So it worked out.
Gotta have the right chemistry.
Yeah.
Yes.
Damn.
And the will to be there, you know? You were talking about your travel schedule earlier, like, you know, on the road for months or going back and forth every week. It's you gotta love it. Otherwise, you'll just get burnt right out.
So true.
Crazy. It's also like, as you're telling me that, like, you guys are so fucking good. You know, like, when you started, obviously everyone's gotten better over years because you played a million shows, right? And just
Maybe, yeah.
But you've done a lot of shows, and like, of course, you get better. But like, where was everybody at when you started? And in those early years of you guys all playing together, did you see like Max especially stands out to me as like just such a unique sound and style? Like, he's so good. Like, was he that when you started, or was it like 2 years in you're like, Max, like in a show, like he did something like, so, you know what I mean? Like, did you see each other turn corners, or was it just kind of like gradual? And
with Max, he was always like incredible for his age. It was always like, holy shit, like that dude is like 18 and like it's like some of the most soulful playing. It was different playing. It wasn't like show-offy. It was like we were cut from a similar cloth in like the way that we sing music and we play music. And it was at first more so like for his age, and then over time he just like didn't stop getting better. And like he was always focused on being the best that he could be, and he never wanted to stop it, and it just continues to evolve like that.
Wasn't he at one point, like when you met him in camp, he was known as like the beatbox kid?
Oh yeah, he was his original way that I met him.
I think he played guitar at that point,
He was the beatbox kid. Like, you gotta check this guy out. Like, he's a dope beatboxer.
Does he still beatbox? Have you like
not as much as he should?
Do you have it on any records? Any Main Squeeze records? Him beatboxing?
Yeah. We have a song called "Smoker's Interlude," and it I think he's beatboxing on it. It started as a beatbox for sure from him, and it may have gotten replaced by drums. But yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Super cool.
He probably has turned several corners of growing, and everyone in the band, it's totally like it's a priority to never stop growing in one way. For me, like, I don't think I like necessarily have been growing as far as like playing faster or like learning more solo techniques. I feel like a lot of my growth has come from the support role of in a band, whether it's production or writing or knowing when to not play, or just like knowing how to navigate a room or a show, a set, whatever it is. Because if all 5 band members are playing as fast or as much as we are capable of, no one in the audience will be able to understand what the fuck we're saying, because it's just too much, and the typical audience member can only really understand one person at a time, or like maybe 2, like if there's a cool guitar riff and a vocal thing happening at the same time. But like, they're not going to understand all of us going crazy at the same time. Yeah. So I feel like we've all been growing in our own ways, and that's definitely a priority for all of us to continue to evolve.
Yeah, there's nothing that bothers me more than like flashy drumming. With drumming, especially because I am a drummer. But yeah, it's like, okay, we get it. Like,
that's what made me appreciate and remember you forever. Was that jam. For sure. Like, that is like the standout.
Because you were like, we get it, okay.
Yeah, I was just like, this guy is so much. It's so much. Please, someone give him a brownie and tell him.
Way to bed.
No, you were really in tune with groove more than flashy or anything. And I think we like had a meeting point of like the meters and like certain things that were very much centered in groove, not like flashiness. And I just remember you being a feel guy. Like, I love drummers that play with feel more than either flashy or just so much. And there was a similar tempo. Some drummers like start really fast, but like I feel like you were like really in tune and loud and fast is like one of my least favorite things about just like a jam. And I think you were really good at like not being too fast and not being too loud.
Holding the container.
Yeah.
So that's why the jams are so I feel like, so at the Squeeze House they do jams and open those, which you've attended.
Sure.
You felt like, and I feel like that's one of the unspoken things, is like creating space for everyone to get their voice in, whatever way that is. And I think that's like one of the most beautiful skills someone can have in that space, is to be able to know when to chime in and when to pull back and not just like be there to show off or like be like, look at me.
Like you're playing noise, but you're listening even more. Like,
exactly.
Yeah. And like, how am I fitting into like this one thing we're doing? Like, it's not like just a bunch of people making noise.
Exactly.
At the same
how can
time.
I contribute to the whole rather than take over stage?
For sure.
Center stage.
Yeah. So at the time when you guys met, is Ruben the drummer or it's that other guy? So this is after the one guy got kicked out.
Was
Corey in the band then too?
You guys were pretty much at the beginning of the journey. I felt like
You were, but I'm pretty sure Corey was in the band when
Corey
you met.
was in the band.
Yeah, Corey was in the band.
I came in after.
So about a year, probably
Kevin Grove.
Yeah. About a year, but she's been there. She helped design our first album cover with Jordan.
Which is the one with the fridge?
Yes.
Which was his dream, right?
Bradley's dream.
Based on the dream.
Brad
Friedman's dream.
Yeah, Brad Friedman's dream. So what? Tell people. I know about the dream, but tell people about this dream that he had.
Oh yeah, it was an epic dream. Like, what a fucking dream! I'm living his dream. Sounds so bad. He explained it to us like this, guys. I had this dream last night. I woke up in my dream and I was so thirsty that I walked up in my dream to the fridge, and I open up the fridge and piles and piles of oranges topple him over to the ground, and like oranges are just piling out of the fridge, full oranges. And he takes an orange and he quenches his thirst, or I don't even think he ends up quenching it. He just keeps squeezing oranges whole into his mouth to never really quench his thirst. And as he's doing this, he sees a marquee above the fridge that says the Main Squeeze. And he describes his dream to us, and we're just like,
so cool.
Fuck yeah. Like, that's definitely better than anything I got right now.
Yeah, so you're on your way to your gig when
I
he
think
says this?
either rehearsal right before the gig or the gig.
Yeah, so there was not a name before that?
No name.
Not even like an interim, like...
Not even. I don't even think we had any other names. It was just like, you came on this earth to give us this name and leave.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Love him for it.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so cool. have you seen that...
I have seen, that album cover.
Yeah, that album cover. It's
I love that shelf
fridge.
in your house that has all the album covers.
Yeah, our little wall of squeeze shine.
I know, I like
we
that.
We actually got all those oranges and put them on the shelves in the
we emptied our fridge. And Karen and Jordan were the ones, well, I think Jordan was like towards the back end of it, like helping with like the Photoshop and like getting the full album together.
Like the design, but like
both of you guys.
Yeah.
But you were probably there for the photo shoots.
Oh yeah.
For sure, you were there.
Yeah. But you know what?
So
everything's a team effort. So.
Yeah. And so now you guys are making music together.
We are.
Has that been for you, like singing and stuff? Were you always a singer, or is this like a new thing?
I guess we're all singers in our own right?
Correct.
I mean, I grew up in like choir and elementary school doing plays. Somewhere along middle school, though, I had a couple moments where I got embarrassed on stage for singing the wrong notes, or like in choir, you're going down the line, they're like, everyone sing the part, and like I just didn't hit that part that day, and it really just like I felt it, just like I closed up and just had a blockage around singing for a really long time. So I'm really grateful, like at the time when I met them and they were doing jams, it was very relaxed environment. I was like starting to play with my voice some more, but never really we never made music together until like 2020 when the pandemic hit.
Wow.
So we've known each other for so long. Of course, like there's car jams and singing like
for
casually.
Sure. Yeah.
But we really kind of tapped into a whole new layer of creation together during that time. So yeah, we have a side project called Chroma Smile, and we basically from scratch just strike up a jam, and I singing some melodies, and songs have been born. And then we got really into these creative videos where my primary focus and expression is body paint, and a bit more on the visual art side. So we were like, what if we create this audio-visual fusion, like music and then the visuals? And then Smiley got really good at video editing
during
the pandemic as well.
Yeah, super good. I remember I went over there, and then you were showing me a video, and I was like, oh, Smiley's editing. I should probably give him some tips because, you know, I'm an editor. And then I like said one thing. You're like, yeah, I know that. Look at this thing I made. I'm like, oh, shit. You don't, I don't need to tell you anything.
He's a natural.
Yeah, natural.
I'm sure I can learn a lot from you. But yeah, we're all just fucking around.
But yeah, we found this very organic flow between the two of us, like his strengths coming through on that music production end. I mean, he's a wizard. So, and then you are. And I've just gotten more comfortable with singing, and I've always loved stacking harmonies and stuff like that. So yeah, it's still very fresh. It's very at the beginnings, but we're gonna release our first EP soon, and it's just it's a fun passion project.
But you have a few songs out, right?
We have a song.
We have one song
out, like on
watched that video.
Spotify. You have one song.
We have like
Chroma Smile.
Yeah, we have like 4 or 5 videos. They're all like 1 minute or like a minute and a half videos, and
Pretty trippy.
The first,
we like that, you know.
Yeah, and the very first
Psychedelic
song we
flavor.
did was birthed from a mushroom trip together, where we were on psychedelics.
Shout out mushrooms.
And
Love
you
psychedelics.
guys.
yeah, mushrooms, let's go. And a song just pooped out of us.
Pooped.
And all of a sudden, we're like, oh, the next morning, not on mushrooms. We're like, this is actually really good. This is
So you recorded it that night.
Yeah, that night we were
Nice.
just recording it. Like the screen was warbling, and it's hard to look at a computer screen on psychedelics.
Yeah.
But we powered through. We finished the song that night, and then the next morning we were like, this is something. Like, let's make an EP, and then we made an E EP.
So cool.
Awesome. I love that feeling too of like, what did we even make last night?
No, it's
Paul
my
says that all the
favorite.
time. He's like,
My
I don't even
favorite.
remember what
Yeah.
we did. And then
When
you're
you-
like,
yeah.
whoa, okay, yeah, I remember that one. And then there's like 5 more songs. You're like, whoa, I forgot about that one.
I love that feeling, waking up,
awesome.
just hearing everything you made.
And it's Judgment Day at that point.
Yeah.
It's-
Oh, pie's
Gotta check on
done.
the pie.
Wow.
We have
It's
pie
actually
in the oven,
it's actually
folks.
not. It's got 10 more minutes.
Okay, 10 more minutes.
Right
Should
back.
I
Yeah, set the timer.
I was
set
just,
its timer for 10 minutes?
Peach cobbler.
are you asking me to set it?
No. Smiley.
I don't know how to do that.
Wait, yes, we want to replace it. Boom, tenor.
Do you guys partake in? Is that your background?
No, that was a
From
picture
the
of
Google
Fred Willard
search.
because I
Okay,
showed
okay.
you.
I knew the story of Fred Willard from what you told us, but I was like, is he also your background? It's like I've regretted this since
Good morning.
since then. I'm like, I can't
We're
believe
still in mourning.
he's just on my back.
Someday.
He's still with you.
Yeah, I have to wait till I die now to meet him.
We actually make it 20. It's not,
Whoa.
Oh shit.
Set a timer for 20 minutes.
Like that crisp.
It's got
There's
it's looking
already-
too soft.
yeah,
We can't have
replace.
that.
So you guys make music together.
Yeah.
We do, and it's a very similar experience. I didn't actually have any. I mean, I guess in like elementary school, I performed and stuff, but by middle school, I was already extremely anxious to perform. Like, had horrible stage fright, and there was definitely a blockage for a long time. Public speaking too, I always loathed it. But yeah, just something about like the safe place, and you know, I first started making music and it was very accidental about it. Like very much like, oh, I'm painting and they're making music and that's something they're doing, and then I would just like throw 2 cents in, and it was very kind of casual. But
Right. But then she was like, you should do it like this. Da, na, na. And she like sang and we're like, why don't you record it?
and it
it's
was like
well,
it was
okay.
insane. Like I would get such adrenaline rushes. Like I
Same.
could just feel it just coursing through my body, and I'm like, oh, I do like this a lot. And then I kind of got hooked on that feeling. And now, yeah, I like it a lot more, and I've learned so much from Paul, like watching him, but he's also super patient and kind of generous with instruction when I want it. You know, it's not every night that we sit down and I'm like, oh yeah, show me how to do this, but some nights I do, and it's been awesome. I definitely do it more intentionally now and kind of with some more confidence than I had before, that's for sure.
It's cool too, like watching your growth, because she's like, you know, for most people, a song is like a song. It's a thing, just one thing. But like if you make music or whatever, you start hearing like, oh, the piano, the guitar, like you hear it as separate pieces, you know. So like you've started to, you know, notice like, oh yeah, the keys here, this, that. You'll even be like, the drums are like too much.
I have opinions now, like really strong opinions that I didn't have before, and it was kind of like a training of my ear. You know, I grew up going to see concerts, I guess, like as a teenager but I never had a lot of formal training, and I was kind of like that average listener where I just was sort of digesting the collective product and not really paying attention to the sum of the parts, and now I can kind of laser in on them a little bit better, which is fun.
Nice.
And it's actually an interesting thing because, like, what's the better way to hear it? To hear just the sum or to hear all the little pieces, you know, like sort of like, it's almost like this Buddhist, like, you're supposed to, you know, the world is one, we're all one. It's just one thing. Like, so is it better hearing the song as just one thing versus like the way we hear it as like many pieces and many interacting parts, you know?
Probably both.
Yeah.
And I think like that's probably the musician's role, or like to be able to see all the pieces, to know what makes that whole thing come together in the end. Like, same for like art, right? It's like, wow, how did you make that painting? It's like, for the average eye, you'd be like, wow, that's impossible. How did you do that? But like, if you know and you dove into that field, you know that one brushstroke leads to the next, and one piece, like, so
and all that.
That's a good point. And then so in a live show, like, you're both of these things because you're an active piece of it, but you're also listening to the whole as if it's something else, like, and then trying to kind of interact with it a little bit. It's an interesting thing.
You want to pull your weight, but again, you don't want to go above average and be this massive outlier that is calling attention away from the collective.
Exactly.
Like, you have to match tempos or like all of it. You just have to kind of go together.
But yes, so we've got our side project too, called The Modern Mystics.
Yeah.
And it's getting mixed right now.
Nice.
And we're going to start dropping songs pretty soon too.
Is it an EP or an album?
must be the season.
Album.
I don't know. I mean, what's the difference?
What is it?
Is this a battle of the bands? did you call us here to go one-on-one?
Yeah,
we're going to start pressing play on songs and seeing who likes.
Well, I mean, what's the difference between an EP and an album?
It's just a way for the industry to milk you for all you got. No, it's EPs like technically, like, people say like 4 to 5 songs, maybe 6. Like, our first EP, the Main Squeeze EP, was I think 7 songs, but most people would say nowadays that's like an album.
What does EP stand for?
Extended play versus
LP.
Lengthly play? No.
Extended though, it feels like.
I know, it's weird, but it.
Well, it's like extended from a single. It seems like.
Oh yeah.
That's what my mind goes to.
Good point. That's good.
So should we call it an album?
Ours?
I don't know.
No, it's an EP.
Okay.
You guys can have an album.
Yeah, we don't want to.
How many songs do you have?
Step on each other's toes.
Well, I think we're just gonna start dropping singles, even, like.
Yeah, that's good.
You know, because with the That Kid Is You Argentina album, we put it out as in a whole as an album, and we under promoted it too, but then we pulled it down and started just releasing it single by single, like, more digestible that way. Like, who's gonna listen to 16 songs in one sitting, you know? Like, even the Drake album, like, nobody wants to hear all those songs, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like one at a time.
I was gonna ask you about that. I was really curious because it was a mysterious thing.
I know.
Because it was up. I listened to it when it was up, and all of a sudden, I think I saw you guys post about it being gone. I'm like, what? It's gone?
Wait, I was just getting used to that.
Yeah.
Being there.
So it was because of that.
So yeah, we just felt like we had, well,
because you had other singles that weren't on the album that came out.
Yeah.
But you didn't release any singles of the album?
no, we just dropped the album.
Oh.
The kind of thought was,
Mistake, yeah.
it was like, you know, especially like, you know, being on Steve's podcast, like, I'm meeting all these people like Post Malone or whatever.
Yeah.
And it'd be better if it was just out versus like, it's not out yet. Yeah. Had I met Post Malone and it was like, no, it's out right now, maybe he would have shared it. Who knows? You know, so it was like, let's just have it be out.
Yeah.
Because then it's out. And then now we'll deal with the rest later. You know, but at least it's out.
Yeah.
But then like a year goes by, like, our best friends didn't even know like it was out, you know, because like we didn't really promote the release. It was like this soft release, you know, it was just the wrong way to do it. And so we were talking with, we hired like a press guy in Argentina because we were like, let's do some press in Argentina because we have a little buzz there and the album's made there and it's produced by an Argentinian. And then in talking with him, he was like, well, there's, only so much we could do because it's already out. And we're like, well, what if we like just took it down and just start over? He's like, that would probably be better, honestly, because then there's so much more we can do. Nice. And so, yeah, we did that. So we unreleased it.
Yeah.
And
controversial.
Controversial.
Love that.
Well, right when we unreleased it, like Neil Young took his shit off Spotify, like against Joe Rogan. And so we were like, okay, that's not why we did it. Like
we're taking our stuff off.
Yeah, like we're coming off too. So it's kind of funny, but yeah, now we're putting it out one single at a time, and just like actually promoting it. Like we've never been good at like
it's a learning process, right?
Yeah.
Especially when it's like a new project, it's like fresh, not a huge following right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
It's brilliant that you did it. Thanks. The videos you're making of the singles as they're dropping are so good.
Thanks.
You with the conch,
Conch, I think. Yeah.
Conch.
Right? You were holding that in one of the videos?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and all of the videos, there's a brand to it. It feels consistent. They're a great way to share it on social media to promote it. I don't know did you not have any videos like that when you were releasing it?
Great so we just set up a vertical camera and just pretty much did the whole album. Well, that's literally what we did. We did the whole album just like in a night, just doing that, just changing outfits in between each one. Fun. So it's like cool. Now we at least have that. Then we met up another time.
But you also had access to a studio and wardrobe and things
like
that.
For sure, yeah.
Like
JC was working at a production company.
That was kind of like, a huge help
for sure.
At the time.
Major. Yeah, so they had that like white infinity wall. So it's like great. So we just would go there like from, like 11 a.m. or 11 p.m. to like 4 a.m. a few times.
Fun.
Yeah. And
so fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
I stayed home those nights.
Christine came one time and it was like 2 and she was like, okay.
Like you promised.
Like, you're just like dancing in front of a camera, just like with a conch.
I'm more of a morning person myself.
But yeah, we just accumulated all this like assets to promote. I watched like a video on like, how to successfully release a single, which is like never, it's like an hour-long video. Like how hard is that? Just watch the video. You learn so much. And it was like just having something each day to put out, like you have the album art, you have, other photos from that day when you shot the album art, you got behind the scenes footage, you got a little performance video, like all this. So it's like just kind of accumulating all that. So before we even started releasing them, we got like a Google Drive with like a folder for each song. Nice. And in there is the videos to use for the promotion. Like it just kind of was all. And so now that it's coming out, it's just like, oh, this week's is this. So I'll download those videos to my phone and put them out once a day.
Yeah, it definitely felt better. You guys are working smarter, I think, this time around for sure.
Yeah, it feels better.
I think with a lot of musicians, like the strength is not necessarily in artists too. Like it's not necessarily in marketing yourself or like the social media or, all of the other stuff that goes into it, which frankly is not as fun. And so it's super easy to just constantly make a freshie and just be like, let's just do another freshie instead of like, target the to-do list.
Me and JC hanging out was like, we could like sit down and make a marketing plan or drink some beers and make some songs. That always works. And so we had to kind of buckle down a little bit too. But yeah.
Good for you. Yeah. I love it.
Thanks, dude.
All the songs
Appreciate
are so good.
We have now it feels like we've like promoted, saturated a little bit. So we're pausing for a week. So a song would have came out yesterday. But it didn't. We took a week off.
It's a good idea.
Because we just felt like it's too constant, Yeah,
once a week is a lot.
Once a week is a lot.
Let them digest the song from last week.
Exactly.
For like a little bit.
So we took a week off and something will come out next Friday and then we'll see. Maybe it'll then... because we don't know when this is coming out. That's true. And so then maybe we'll go to every other week.
I don't even
or maybe we'll go back to every week. I don't know. But... it's been cool. It's been a learning experience, and it feels good to just actually be promoting it.
Yeah.
At least well enough to be like, cool. Like, we tried. Like, now let's make something else, But at least we did that, like, fully to its fullest.
I also feel like you guys are both kind of, how do I say this? Like, showing off more of, like, your production skills, too, because JC's an editor, but also, you both are, like, getting so much better at producing yourselves. I think visually it's really cool to see
Thank you.
I mean, I love all your old videos, but there's just such a like identity that's clear in the latest stuff, and I think like a cohesion that's really clear, and it's very obvious like who you guys are when you watch. And
thanks.
It's so good. I like how you had different videos for each one of your verses. Like I had only heard your verse on that one. That was like my favorite thing I heard of you guys. I was like, that was so good. I was just sending it directly to people, and then I was like, I never even heard the chorus yet. And then there was another video of JT singing the chorus. I'm like, oh shit, that's that song.
Nice.
And I just loved the way you guys did that. I remember one of the old videos. You're welcome. Of you guys switching cameras in front of the mirror, and I was like, these guys have definitely done some video editing before. You guys knew.
Yeah, that was I was really proud of that. Like, because we put that mirror there so that you would see the change happening.
Yeah.
I feel like that makes the video so much more interesting.
Yeah, because it's like these guys are actually just shooting it themselves right now.
Yeah.
Like, as you see it.
I feel like there's a deeper level of appreciation for those nuances and those little things when you're doing it yourself. Like coming from a new perspective of making our own videos, it's like a whole new level of like, wow, cool, check that out.
Right,
like,
right. Like, I would never think to do something
For
like
the
that.
graduated viewers, the people who are super tuned into it.
You too can edit videos with Instagram filters. The one that you guys on the beach of one of your songs where it's like red, right? There's like a red
I
world
like
to
inverted the colors on it.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's not that hard.
It's one button. Invert.
One
little
button.
button.
Search invert. Drag and drop.
We invert a lot.
I like a good inversion, yeah. And so for you, Caren, like the body painting, was that kind of always your passion, or when did that come in?
That came in about 11 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. It's really just, my eyeliner went rogue one day, and I all of a sudden had a tree on my forehead, and I was like, oh, this is cool.
Wow.
And it just became a pastime, passion thing that I would do. At the beginning, I was covering myself with acrylic paint, which no one should ever do.
You're not supposed to do that.
But
No,
I would just turn
don't do
into.
that.
I just love the transformation and turning into these like floadelic creatures and playing with the camera like on mirror mode. This was back in the day when like MacBooks were like just becoming more popular, and you had your photo booth and like all the different fun
the
fun
photo booth
filters,
effects, so yeah,
the
for
mirror effects. I was obsessed with that, and I just like paint myself in these abstract shapes and colors, and then go on mirror mode and do like trippy videos.
Wow.
And I was just hooked ever since, and I'm still kind of in that wave, like doing that.
Sure.
Everyone loves a good kaleidoscope.
Yeah.
And when I lived in New York, I was actually living in an art sanctuary. Like we'd have events, and body painting was one of my offerings that I would do. And I just love when people see themselves in the mirror after they've been painted, and it's just this like aha, like wow, I look cool, and I'm like, you are cool, and just it felt like a perfect vehicle to remind people of how amazing it is to be alive, essentially.
Wow.
Because that's how it made me feel. Like I felt alive and inspired, and like, wow, we're these magical beings. And then, to be able to share that in that way is just the love of my life right now.
Super
other than
cool.
you.
Who's first?
Don't make me choose.
And so you just finished
It's
doing like
a little chameleon. I love it.
Yeah,
Just
and you
try
just
on all these
finished
different things.
40 days of painting your. Well, now you're on day 41.
Yeah.
Right, and you're still going.
Just a little something, I feel like it sparks my day off, and just adds a little extra color. I'm like, why don't people do this more often?
Right.
And I paint people, and their reaction's usually the same of like, man, I wish I could wear this all the time. And I'm like, you can.
Right.
No
like, why
one's
isn't
gonna stop you if you try.
You take my course, my 3-week course. It's on my link.
There you go.
No,
Yeah, like
it's
why
not.
A
isn't
lot of money
the daily
in webinar and like instructional
I know.
everything these days.
for sure?
It's coming.
Well, like
I like
I think the future probably is like your daily makeup would be something more like that than like blush and some eyeshadow. Like why isn't it?
Well, isn't there something about the word makeup, which is like makeup is making up for something, but what Caren does is more so bringing out the beauty that's already within, as opposed to, you can probably say it way better than me, but
No, you're on
That's
a great
nice.
track. I love that. That's been one of my like just something to think about, of even how strong words are in programming, right? Like what make up, like you said, breaking that down, like who came up with that name and why do we make up to, live up to some certain beauty standard? This is more like accentuating what's already there and being creative at the same time. Because I think when we're tapped into our creativity, that's like the most alive a human can be, in my humble opinion.
Well, and like you are art.
You are art.
And
we are
it's
art.
like we are art
Yeah.
already, but it's like you don't necessarily feel like art right now. Or I don't necessarily feel like I'm art right now.
I can see it.
But but now that we're talking about it, I'm starting to feel a little more. But it's like if they were to paint me, it'd be like, wow, like I am art,
Right.
And like you feel that probably. I've never been painted.
Revealing
Now I want
layers.
to.
Ooh,
Yeah.
let's do it.
It's also a pattern interrupt for anyone that sees it in the wild. Like, this is something that I just remembered how much I loved doing this as a kid, but all the way through college. Like, I used to have like this weird glasses that like had the mustache and like weird stuff on it, and I would like in my car I would always have it, and I would try to make people like either smile or laugh or be like, "What the fuck is that?" Because it was an interrupt of some sort.
Yeah.
And I do still say hi to a lot of strangers, and then when Caren goes in public or when someone that she paints is in public, it's an interrupt in a really cool way of like people that are just living their life, like maybe mundane life or maybe they had a bad day. They can
Or
see
like on
something.
autopilot.
Yeah, exactly.
Just without anything different to make you like think twice.
Yeah, I know. And this will make you think twice.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
see like she does like full body of these women that end up like existing in a supermarket for like their grocery shop. And
Right. It's like an alien is in there basically.
yeah.
Well, I think, don't they say, maybe you guys would know this better than me, but like that's very healthy for your brain, like the interrupt, like something that like breaks your pattern or like, it's not like if you're trying to focus, like to just go like, or like do something crazy, like all of a sudden, like now it like your brain is just like,
Oh, okay.
been a little, it's like a little shook loose and a little like more perceptive in that moment or something like that, right?
Sure.
It's gotta be.
Yeah.
All right.
That's science.
What am I, a doctor?
No, what am I? Interrupt doctor?
Not to be too focused on psychedelics again, but that reminds me of that because psychedelics access parts of our brains that see reality in a whole fresh lens. So it's like like you said, we're constantly in our routines and we get so in the cyclical pattern. But when what was that?
It's an interrupt.
That's a pattern.
Yeah, that was a pattern interrupt.
But it's like, you just have a new opportunity to see life in a new light or break things down that would normally be considered normal or that's just the way things have been done. You get to reassess it and be like, wow, break it down for what it really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like seeing someone in like their whole face painted or whatever, it's kind of like, oh wow, like you can.
Pie.
That's the pie sign. It's kind of like a reminder, like you could do that. Like you're looking at that person, and they're like, "Oh, I could do that. Like, why don't I do that? Like,
yeah,
you could do that. You
can
it's
do
a
that.
nice reminder. That,
Yeah, and I started doing workshops, so that kind of holds that space for people to have that moment looking in the mirror, and it's the self-adornment practice. So it's like a self-love mirror work kind of exercise where you kind of get to just adorn yourself, give yourself some self-love. I mean, if more people realize what
phone.
miracles they were.
Don't touch it.
Hook me up with 10 more.
10 more. All right.
Jeez. The pie that won't
crisp.
cook.
I know, it's not
10
getting crisp.
minute
I need a
timer.
broil or something.
It's starting to smell really good.
I know, it
Smells amazing. Yeah.
But
We can set it to broil. Probably.
If it doesn't work now.
If it doesn't work in 10 minutes, we'll throw
If
it
it
out.
doesn't work in 10 minutes, we're not
It's the
eating.
last chance.
No, but I wanted to add because I recently found the pictures from when you painted me at your house.
Oh yeah, I guess.
And
I
you
got
had
a little
like
bit too.
just a small bit. Like I
Right.
had more details than
Uh-huh.
you. But I saw the pictures and I was like a different person. Like the way I took all those pictures, I felt like I was like Kiss. Like my mouth was open and like I was wilding out in every picture. Like, I was just being like spicy from it.
Yes.
It's like a permission slip.
Yes.
Right.
It's like Halloween.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just
Kind of.
it was it just made my whole mood different.
Yeah.
Yeah. For super true. How long does it take to paint a whole body?
Spicy.
Whole body. Usually around 4 to 5 hours.
Wow.
45.
So we
That
go
is long.
deep. It is long, but it goes by so fast, because you're also talking and you're like in this zone. It's also the way that I do it is like set up in this kind of ceremonial way where you have an intention going into it. It's like, what do we want to fuse into the paint that wants to be imprinted into the body? So, and then you have a photo shoot afterwards to capture it.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's about the journey.
You photograph whoever you paint to. That's okay. Yeah, I thought so.
Sometimes she works with photographers.
Photographers.
Photographers. This is a different thing for body paint. Yeah. Photographers.
Love it.
Yeah, wow.
But she does
So
it mostly.
cool.
Painted Smiley's hands before.
Have you been fully painted yet?
The whole Main Squeeze has 5
That's right,
members for one of our albums. We all went to Cosm, which is where Caren worked for 6 years and lived for 6 years. And all 5 of us, I shaved my chest.
Everyone, I was like, you guys have to shave that chest.
And all for art.
They did.
For the art.
I was so happy.
I'm guessing your chest need to be shaved more than anybody's. You probably
You'd be surprised.
What's that supposed to mean?
Like,
Hairy guy.
you'd be surprised. My arm hair stops right there.
Whoa.
And it just
There you go.
stops. And it continues all the
His pecs,
way.
smooth as a baby's bottom.
No,
Just the forearm.
they're relatively smooth, my pecs.
Huh.
My grandpa
That
has
is
the same
interesting.
thing, actually, randomly.
It's like
Yeah.
not a farmer's
Anyways.
tan. It's like a farmer's hair.
Hair, yes.
Farmer's fur.
Yeah, and Karen's Opa, the first time I met him, we had an arm hair comparison competition because one of the first things Caren mentioned to me about her Opa is that he has hairy arms than you, and I was like, doubt it, no way. I mean, I trim these weekly, so they're under control. Oh yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Mow the lawn.
Yeah.
They're not that out
So
of
you'd be like full Robin Williams.
Oh yeah, knuckles deep. Yeah, knuckle
Wow.
hair longer than. Yeah.
How long has your hair been that long?
Like 15 years maybe now. Yeah, like probably 15 years. I've cut it like 12 inches twice, 10 inches a couple times.
Cut
I've
it
donate it.
10 inches or cut it off?
Yeah, for Locks of Love, it has to be
Yeah.
at least 10 inches.
Right.
I've cut it. I've donated 3 times to Locks of Love. And
There
now
was
it's
one phase I remember you had like kind
bowl
of
cut type thing. Or
shoulder
like
length.
there.
That was the shortest I've ever seen his
Wow.
hair.
Since we met 12 years ago, yeah.
And is there any like, 'cause my buddy JC's got the same beautiful long hair, and he's
Yeah.
like, I'll never cut it. This is my superpower. Like, I will never cut this.
Yeah,
Is that how you feel too?
I don't think I'm gonna cut it anytime soon. But I was very close
Long
at one
live
point.
the locks.
Karen just shaved her head completely a month ago, or maybe a little longer. 2 months ago
It's
now.
almost
3
time's
months.
flying.
The other day.
I don't even
Just
know.
Yeah, it was just the other
The other
day. It was the other. I mean, it was another day,
That was
and
experience.
that was inspiring. There was a time after that where I was like, "Shit, maybe I should do it too." But I'm not going to.
It'll be cool. I say this to JC too all the time. Like when you're old and it's like gray, like
Silver. We're gonna call it silver.
silver,
Yeah,
then you'll be so
Silver
glad you
fox.
kept it.
100%. Yeah,
But it looks good now too.
I've shaved half of my face before for a Halloween costume. That was the extent of me
He
being.
did business
You've never been
casual.
fully shaved?
Well, I did after that.
Okay. But that's a rare thing, fully
That was
shaved.
very rare.
Yeah.
That was
Did
like,
you feel naked?
Oh my god, it felt really weird. Wasn't into it.
I was like, who are you?
It was very
There's a
strange.
stranger here.
It was like, yeah, for that Halloween costume, I had repeated it a couple years, and I knew that I couldn't have like any important thing on camera or at a show after that for like at least a couple weeks because I didn't want to exist without facial hair.
What was the costume?
Business casual.
Oh, business casual.
Like
Okay.
I cut a dress shirt, or I cut a tie-dye shirt in half. So half my body was a half tie-dye shirt, my hairy arms, khaki shorts that were like ripped up, and Birkenstocks, and my hair down, and my beard completely out. And then the other half was a dress shirt, half of a tie, my hair like clipped up and like kind of like spiked back and nice, and half dress pants and dress shoes, and half of my face shaved.
You said
Beautiful.
it, but I couldn't picture it. I like didn't process it at the time. We were talking to his uncle recently, and it just like didn't really occur to me how hated hippies were at one time. Like I knew that hippies were like on the fringe, right? They were counterculture, and like I knew
It was like
that.
Antifa.
Yeah, but I just the way he was
like these long
describing
hairs.
it, he was like, "Yeah, we got the long hairs. Like we were scared to drive through Texas. Like we were, you know, he went on this cross
Your
country.
uncle?
My uncle.
Yeah, like went on this cross country road trip and ended up, you know, they were always so paranoid about having pot in the car because they looked like dirty hippies, and they knew
Hippies was a derogatory
yes,
term.
and like they knew
They called
that.
them the long hairs.
Yeah,
I don't
they-
even know if hippie was a word when he said like
Daddy
long
long
hairs.
hairs.
But
He's
they
like, yeah,
got-
because we were long hairs, so they were gonna pull us over,
Yeah, it was interesting.
throw us in jail.
Hearing from him, and then I don't know. Yeah, it was just kind of intriguing about their journey, but there's certainly
Yeah,
a
like,
lot of expectations
Smiley's
all
look
the
was like a
time.
threat to society.
Yeah,
My daddy was a hippie.
Nice.
a lot of good.
Mama was a what? And daddy was a hippie? Mama was a...
Kappa.
And daddy was a hippie. No, it's a Red Hot Chili Pepper song, right?
Oh, yeah.
Mama was a cuppa and it,
Oh, it's Kappa? It was Kappa?
I think so.
Mama was a Kappa and a daddy was a hippie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. When did you get the name Smiley? And we'll wrap this up soon, as soon as the pie's done.
Well,
Very young.
We're gonna let you go.
You don't want to eat pie on cam?
Well, we'll deliver the pie and then we'll cut it.
That's a good.
Be like Steve.
I want people
Yeah,
to
we need
see
people.
me eat.
People
Alright.
need to see the
In
pie.
that case,
Watch
let me
me
make a pie.
eat. Watch me eat.
Pie throw.
I got the
Island.
name Smiley when I was a young lad. Young.
When I was a
8.
young warthog.
Well,
Yeah, I was...
Who named
He
you?
was a young warthog.
Keep going.
Do we need to start a band?
Is this a battle band or a new band?
Chroma Mystics over here.
Oh, Mystic Chroma.
Oh.
Seems like they would be a fit. I don't
It would
know.
be a fit.
We'd be hippies categorized.
We've been joking too because we have so much of our music that we'll like invite a friend in for, you know, it's like it's gonna have to be Modern Mystic and Friends, you know.
Yeah.
It could still
not
be,
a feature.
yeah,
You know,
Still
like-
us.
Still be
It's
a
still,
feature,
yeah.
I guess.
yeah. Don't.
I'm just
Yeah.
saying, the more the merrier.
Yeah, no, we welcome everybody into the recording.
Yeah.
You guys
we
are more
do shows
exclusive. or-
together too.
We're,
So yeah, have you done shows?
No.
And would that be a scary thing for you?
I'm getting more warmed up to it.
Mm.
I feel like I'm up for the challenge. It's definitely more out of my comfort zone.
He looks
But-
at me like you're
Not
gonna
this
go
one.
through that one day. I
Not
know
this
it.
one.
what? You're not. You're.
She's
a
like,
hard
look,
no?
we can make music, but I will never perform.
Oh,
Like,
that's gonna change.
I'll be a recording artist,
I
but
will never
That-
perform.
Yeah.
That's gonna shift eventually.
yeah, probably, maybe,
forward to
maybe.
I,
I
feel
mean,
like there's a
it's-
context too with it. Like, say you have like really dope visuals in the back going on, and you have like
Face
maybe
paint
some
on.
body paint,
We're gonna have
Yeah,
to
get
paint you
some
out.
armor. I need some.
and then
Yeah,
having
spicy.
your guy next to you. I
Yeah.
feel like, I mean, even just doing things together is kind of more
Safer.
Sure.
ensuring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I imagine. Like I said, I got addicted to that adrenaline rush before.
Yeah.
It kind of goes away. I still feel it sometimes, but not as intense. So maybe that next big hit would be on stage in front of people.
Yeah. We'll give you some
Chicken and
reverb and a little auto tune and
There you go. Make me sound good.
Well, and the
you
fun
know?
thing too, it's like it's your thing. Like you can't do it wrong because it's you.
Actually,
You know, like-
I'm surprised to find
Look at
out
that.
how much I can do my own stuff wrong.
No,
That's what I mean.
no.
Not wrong necessarily, but
Good.
it is amazing that you could forget lyrics that you write, or
I
you know,
don't
like
remember any
I
lyrics.
forget. You know, it's always
But
Are there
practice
lyrics?
goes a long way.
What are the lyrics?
I really feel like
Rehearsal.
we're here to liberate our voices, women specifically. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like we have to, break through that discomfort because it's been suppressed for so long. And
Totally.
we're here to like heal that through showing up in our own ways.
Yeah, it is cathartic, and yeah, I felt so much in my life that like cat just got your tongue feeling, you know, where it just like I don't know. There's a
It's generational.
yeah, it's a lot, you know, and it's that's great. Like
Let's hear it. Let's hear one of the songs.
Oh my
I'm
god.
gonna get the pie.
Acapella, no reverb.
Okay, wait. So back to your no
Wow.
backing song, no nothing. Back to your nickname though. Who gave you the nickname?
This is something that I wish I had like a for sure answer on. I usually tell people,
Spirit.
yeah.
Came
So
to the dream.
there's
It
some
was
people that
Bob
claimed it was
Friedman's
them.
dream or whatever
Kind
that
of
guy's.
Right.
related to dreams.
So I do sleep with a subtle smile on.
When you
So-
were a baby or when you were a kid.
I mean, I guess now I sleep with my mouth open, just like
Yeah, like
catching flies.
an open
gotta
mouth
do
laugh.
So yeah, someone's got to catch the
Don't we
flies. Does it still need more time?
I put the broiler on.
Good.
I'm
We're
not
done.
messing around
Throw it out.
anymore.
We're rolling.
Throw
we're
it
rolling.
out.
So it's either a babysitter / counselor that named me Smiley, which is what I think it is. But it could have been like a mom of a friend who claims it was them. There's people that claim it, and it was when I was like 8 years old.
Like highly debated.
And did it immediately go like, oh, okay, yeah, you're Smiley?
In middle school and high school, I was Ben. For everyone that doesn't know,
I was trying to think like, God, I
What
know
is
I've
his
heard
name?
it, but I don't know it right.
is his name?
Benjamin.
Oh, shish. So I was always Benny sometimes, and at camp I was Smiley. And then in the band in high school, I was Smiles, sometimes Smiles Davis,
Nice.
which I loved.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I almost named my artist project Smiles Davis, but there was a DJ Smiles Davis, a woman that lives in LA that does it, and I'm like, fuck, like I wish I could do that. But then I'm like, it's not meant to be like, I'm just like one letter away from another dude. Like I'd rather just be someone else. So at college, I introduced myself as Smiley. I made a choice to just be like, I'm just gonna be Smiley in this world, because I was able to start over. You're in high school, you're Ben, you're not just gonna like all of a sudden be like, no, I'm Smiley now. But I'm in a new place, Indiana. I don't really know many people at all. I'm now Smiley.
Changed your Facebook name.
Yeah. And I wasn't really good at remembering people's names. So this was a way for me to like give someone like me like a little cheat code. Like it's gonna be easy.
Very
like,
easy
just
to
look at
remember.
my face and like,
Right.
you got
It
it.
definitely caught my attention. I was like, Smiley.
Oh, right.
Hey, Smiley with the beard.
Right. Like they wouldn't call you that if you weren't like a pretty happy guy. You know, like if you were some angry asshole, you wouldn't have got that name.
Well,
you know,
I feel like there's like big dudes that they call like Smalls or something.
Yeah, my grandma nicknamed my brother-in-law before she passed away. I was always so cute. She called him Shorty, and he's like 6'8".
Yeah, see? There's
I
like
always
polar
thought that was
opposite
sweet.
names.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Sorry, but
Irony.
this just happens.
No, you're right. Prove me
Biggie
wrong.
Smalls.
Big
We've
small.
met other Smileys before, and usually I'm like, you're not the real Smiley.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. Like, well,
Imposter.
it's like, you got to fight my boyfriend now.
No, but
Smiley!
the Smiley that we saw in Colorado, though, that was his God-given name or birth name.
Oh.
Oh, God given.
Not
His
God-given.
parents gave it to him.
Parents given. Wait, what is God-given name? That's your birth name, right?
Your God-given name.
Or is that your last name?
I
No.
like when you whisper. Can you whisper it again?
God-given. This is God. And your name is
Smiley.
Yeah, I don't know. God-given. God? Is that you? Is it?
Dog? Is that got a dog?
No, that's the pie. That's the pie barking.
Oh, here comes the pie.
Oh, we got pie, folks.
Pie barks?
Wow. Ooh, look at that
gosh.
drip.
Got it broiled after all, guys.
Ooh, it's still bubbling. Look at that. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh my God, it's like breathing. It's alive.
Oh, there's a bubble I want to pop.
Don't melt the microphone.
This hair? Should I?
It doesn't matter. Oh, the hair. Wait, that's.
Is there hair?
I don't want to like touch it, but I want to kind of hear the pop
Touch it.
on.
Touch it. Touch it.
No sound.
After fact.
a silent.
We'll get it in post.
We'll
Don't
stick
worry.
it in post. All right, let's eat some pie. This was
Yeah.
awesome.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much
You're
for finally
so
doing
welcome.
this.
Thanks for having us.
This was honestly a real
Finally
treat.
doing it. This has been on the books for months and years.
Years.
We finally got to have it.
Millennia.
Yeah,
Millennia.
grateful.
Forever.
Grateful we're all in one place. One time. That was a treat.
Oh, we're so happy to be here. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Very much.
This is our God-given
You guys all right.
right to be here.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time. Good night.
We love you so much. We love you so much.